All right, welcome back to my channel, Life Advantage Now with Andre Caraway. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to go ahead and talk about, this week we're going to talk about effective leadership, okay? So it says, to achieve something you've never achieved before, you must be someone you've never been before, okay? Flexibility in time of great change is a vital quality of leadership. Your ability to make good decisions will determine your success as much as any other factor. Follow up and follow through until the task is complete, the prize won. Dare to go forward. Courage is the mark of greatness in leadership. Okay, so again, that's from quotationals from Brian Tracy. If you want to go ahead and you want to look up that, you most definitely can. So today's video, we're going to talk about texting and driving. Okay, and I know, you know, it's probably one of those things that they get worn out a lot, but it's definitely, we'll probably have some more videos on these, but it's always, we always need to go over and text and driving. Why? Because we have new drivers. Why? Because we have people that don't follow rules and regulations, people that don't, they just kind of do the things that they want to do when they're driving behind the wheel. Okay, so I always like to go on, I like to look at this text dot, I don't like to look at it, but it's, it just kind of lets me know, and just think, this is only in Texas, okay? So last week when I checked this, it says text dot, deaths this year on Texas roads, and it could be anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be about texting and driving, but it says last week. Let's see, the last week I checked, it was like it's 8/21. This week I will check it every week. It's 960. Can you believe? And this is only in Texas, okay? So can you believe we're getting rid of the number of drivers that we put, the new ones that we put behind the wheel. So that's really sad, okay? So now the only thing I really have to say about texting and driving is that, you can't fix stupid. And what I mean by that is that you have, you go to these classes, you go to these educational seminars, they tell you about, texting and driving, even if it's about, driving while under the influence of whatever, okay? But you go to all these classes, you go to all these seminars, you see all these signs, you see all this stuff that tells you what to do and what not to do. And I mean, text dot signs, they tell you all day long, talk, text, crash. That's one of the number one things. That's all over the nation, but it's telling you don't do it. And then, you have people telling you don't do it. I mean, so it's not like people don't know about it. Okay. But like I was telling you, I recall this woman one time, she was driving a little convertible. I was driving right, kind of behind her, getting ready to pass her. And I was like, how does she have one hand up and one hand out the window? Because she has one of her hands out the window because she's smoking, okay, a cigarette. So the other hand, she got it up, held up with a cell phone. I'm like thinking, how is she? So you already know she's driving with her knee, okay? Well, come on, I mean, think about it. You already got one hand out the window, smoking. They tell you don't text and drive, so that's probably something you need to do. But some people have that, what you call that mental thing, like they just got to get on social media, like it just, they hear that ding or they hear something in their phone, they just got to get that phone. The best thing for you to do would be to put your phone on silent, or some people, they have to go as far as putting it in the trunk or putting it in the glove compartment, just so they don't actively get it while they're driving. As long as it's not easily gotten while they're driving, they don't too much worry about it. But you have those people that will actually reach over. Those are the ones that probably need to put it in the trunk of the vehicle, okay, or in the back seat or something like that, just so they won't go through the activity of actually trying to get it, okay. They tell you that you can use those apps. You have the apps and stuff in your phone. You have the the new cars now, they have the sync and all that stuff. But if there's a certain app you can use, you can download, okay. Some, it's already on the phone when you get it, that you can set it up to driving mode. You can set it up to driving mode where it'll send a text to let the person know that you're driving. So just like me, I drive a commercial vehicle. So when someone calls me, it literally says, thank you for calling company such and such or whatever. But I also say that I may not answer your call or text if I'm driving, or already at someone's house doing an install, already on the phone. Okay. So that's probably something that you don't have to do that, but it just goes to show it's just some steps that you can take so that way you're not texting and driving. Okay, you don't want to be doing any of that. Okay, I thought I had a percent, but I didn't write it down. Let's see. Okay, so let's talk about, someone asked me a question about, well, what do you do if you got an emergency call? Okay, well, the best thing for you to do would be to pull off the freeway. And we talked about that before. If it's just something that you have to do in the car that takes your your attention away from driving, then you probably should pull that vehicle over. If it's trying to reach for something or whatever, pull the vehicle over. It's safer to do it when you're not maneuvering or driving behind the wheel of a car, okay, or a truck or a van, whatever, okay. But the best thing for you to do would be to pull over and take that phone call. I'm pretty sure you've seen some people on the side of the highway where they're got the flashers on there on the phone, probably because they're on a business call, okay. And most of the time, thank God they pull off. They're not a danger. It's like I told you, some people don't realize that, but have you ever? Some people don't realize it, but sometimes you can be on the phone and, your conversation, you be so more involved in your conversation that you don't realize that you're tailgating people. You don't realize that you're slowing down and speeding up, moving from lane to lane, and you forget, that affects traffic, or it may make you forget to leave your blinker on or something like that. Remember we talked about that. It's illegal to leave a blinker on. You can get a ticket for that. Okay, you can get a ticket for that because it confuses traffic and it causes accidents. Okay, so you have to remember, all of your attention should be. Remember, I tell you in the other videos that you have to be mentally ready when you get ready to drive. If you're not mentally ready, then don't get behind the wheel. Okay, because it starts to get serious once you get in that car. Okay, and you put that seatbelt on. And of course, you're going to check everything, mirrors and all that stuff, right? Make sure your seat's good and all that stuff. And as soon as the wheels move in that vehicle, you are responsible. Okay? So like I told you, so even if you get in the car and, you look at your phone and you back up an inch and you hit something, you're at fault. You're responsible for that. Okay? So we have to give all of your attention. Okay? Just think about this for a second. If everybody just concentrate on what's in front of them. Don't worry about the noise that's going on over here. Don't worry about the wreck that's going on over here. Don't worry about the people talking behind you in your seat. Just focus on driving, because your life also depends on their life as well. Okay? Your driving depends on how everybody turns out in that vehicle. Whether they're all shook up because you're doing like this and running over bumps, or if you study pushing on the brakes, or if you're speeding, or if you have an accident or something like that. So we all have to focus on one thing when you're behind the wheel, and that's driving. Okay? Remember, only way you can drive is with your eyes. Okay? And you maneuver the wheel with your hands. So all that's got to be active in that motion at the moment. Okay? So like I always say, you want to think and drive beyond common sense, because we know what common sense things are. Okay, we know what common sense things are, but you want to think and drive beyond common sense, because that's going to keep everybody else safe. So until next time, I think that's pretty much all I really have to cover about texting and driving. I mean, it's like I said, it's just as simple as that. You got the signs, you go to the seminars, you have the educational classes, they talk to you, you take the test online that's just something that people, it's like tying your shoe. When you walk, unless you're, 2-year-old, 3 years old, when you walk, you know that you have to tie your shoe when you put that shoe on. Okay? Any normal person knows that they have to tie a shoe when they put it on. So when you get in a car, everybody knows that we don't text and drive, because that takes lives. Okay? And if you go on TextDot, depending on what, I'm pretty sure it's different in other states, but you have the pledge that you can take, about not texting and driving. So again, until next time, remember, think and drive beyond common sense. So I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.